Does anyone immediately have any questions at all? Yes.
How can I like strengthen my limbs so that way I can play like notes for I can just like play for longer. Sometimes I notice like I'll be playing and all my lips just get like shot and it's really hard for me to feel like I notes.
First thing I would want from you personally, and I like that we're diving straight at this because we've all been on our teeth before and that's no fun, right? We've all been there. How many people play like marching bands? So almost everybody. Yeah, the long stretches of days, right, they're taxing and arduous and everything like that. So what I would want to know first off is walk me through how much you play and practice like on a given week. And be honest.
Every business day during band class.
And what about practice? That's only when you practice?
Yes.
Okay. So otherwise you don't practice on the weekends?
Sometimes I do.
Okay. And so on the days that you're at school, business days, how much are you practicing?
About an hour a day.
That's not practice. I'll be straight with you. Playing in band is not practice. That's rehearsal. Two different things. Okay. So if you want to feel better in band class, the first thing I would say is you got to get your horn out on your own time and start to work. Not like a huge inordinate amount of time, but I'd say at least 20, 30 minutes of where you can just start to like work on some good fundamentals. Like scales and tonguing, some lip slurs and general practices of trumpet. That'll help in a huge way without even needing to talk about like positioning or breath or any of this other stuff. Is like first things first is get that horn out on your own time. How many people here practice on their own time? Okay, yeah, I just want to be clear about that whole thing. And it's okay if you don't. Not everybody's motivated to practice their instrument. That's okay. You don't have to be. You're your own person. You know, one of you might go on to do some really big things in another field, and that's totally okay. Music's about enjoyment, I believe. What would you offer, Aaron?
Yeah, I would say the sooner you can fall in love with the
Can you guys hear
the joy of maintenance, which I would consider to be a warm-up. You know, everyone says warm-up. I say maintenance because all we're doing is trying to see what the baseline is going to be like every day. The sooner you can fall in love with that, find a way to do it, the more those problems will go away. I probably haven't showed up to a thing in the last like 15 years without being warmed up by the time I get there. Which, like Mike said, it can be 25 minutes. It can be 40 minutes. It doesn't have to be multiple hours, but I think it's kind of like warming up. This is a heavy endurance, you know, high performance and very kind of low margin for error. So you have to warm it up, especially the older you get, because your muscles won't recover in the same way. I mean, as you just like you'd be running, you're building up lactic acid as you go, which is why you feel like you're kind of losing it after a certain amount of time. And really the only way to combat that is to, you know, still be safe about it, but play longer. You know, a lot of my college years, I was playing trumpet 10, 11 hours a day. A lot of the best trumpet players in the world, if you were to ask them what their kind of at-home, non-gig maintenance routine is like, they'll answer basically by saying they play all day long. You know, I'm sure you guys have heard rest as much as you play, right? Anybody ever heard that before? Like when you're sitting at home practicing, you play for 5 minutes, rest for 5 minutes. So it's not like these people are sitting there playing for 12 hours straight. That would not be healthy. But on off is absolutely the way to go. And I think the sooner you can kind of find love in that and find enjoyment in that, the better it will be. When I was in high school, I did not practice at all. But when I was in college, I found a method that I loved. And sorry to any music teachers in the room when I say this, but we are lucky. We play an instrument that we can multitask with, right? So what I do when I'm practicing is read Yahoo articles about current events, watch Netflix with closed captions on, right? Well, I do things that basically, the trumpet part of it is mindless to me. I'm not looking at a piece of sheet music to, you know, to warm up or maintain. So I'm basically just enjoying whatever else I want to do, whether it's reading about the world or, you know, watching a show I'm interested in, and I'm still practicing. So the sooner you can find a way to do that, the better off you'll be for sure.
I want to follow that up just real quick and I'll get to your question. you have to take that comment with a grain of salt. Aaron is practicing things that he has fully memorized. Rather than if we're talking about Herbert L. Clark's technical studies book, it's a very common trumpet material book for practicing just general technique. It has chromatic scales, scale patterns, arpeggios, chords, all kinds of things that are just good general knowledge-based things. Eventually, you just memorize the exercise and you just play it in all the keys and throughout the range of the instrument. So it doesn't take like a high level of brain power once you have it down with your fingers and kind of understand it.
And that's the goal, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. Like getting off the page when you're practicing technique for sure. But like for our friend here, I'm just putting you on the spot because you raised your hand first. You don't practice at home. So the last thing that you want to do is flip on the TV and practice in front of the TV. You want to sit down, your chair, your trumpet, your music stand, and like work on something, or even save up a little money and get like a lesson, get a private lesson, and that person can help guide you with, this is what I would, if you're going to practice 30 minutes a day, here's exactly what I would do. And you can do that, and then you continue to build from that. That makes sense? Yes? Yeah. No, YouTube and practice at your age doesn't really mix. Just want to be clear about that. Yeah, question.
Are there any specific warm-ups that you would suggest?
That's like a 2-hour answer question.
It's personal for everybody. It's
Yeah.
personal for everybody.
I would say, if anything, before I get into specific things, I would say an order of operations would be more important than exactly what you're doing. So the first thing would be trying to establish a buzz, a nice, consistent, easy buzz. So that can be done with long tones, that can be done with mouthpiece buzzing, that can be done with note bending, right? Then maybe the next thing would be a little bit of slurring. So some sort of slurring exercise that helps you start to expand the range. And then maybe a range building exercise. And then you can start incorporating the tongue a little bit, the fingers, whether you're doing a Clark or some arpeggios or something like that. But I would say, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but both of us the things we do has changed so much over the years. We just take a thing, we input it, we try it. If we feel benefit from it, we continue it.
Yeah.
If we feel like, oh, this isn't really working, we stop doing it. And we're always kind of asking ourselves that question of like, is this working for me? Where is this in the pattern? Where does that fit? And am I being productive as I'm doing it?
Yeah.
So that would be my short answer is, before getting into like individual this, then this, then this.
There is an element of experimentation that never ends, right? So 1 second, I'll get to your question. Don't worry. You already cashed your chips. No, I'm just kidding. One thing that I see in young players, like everybody here is in high school, middle school. So middle school, high school, so like 7 to 12 grade, something like that. The thing that I see most common in young players is your posture sucks. And so when your posture sucks, the thing that's going to suffer the most is everything, because you're not breathing right. If you're not breathing right, then you're not going to have the right air to play the trumpet. It requires highly compressed air, and that's done here with the diaphragm. There's this band of muscle that separates your lungs from the rest of your guts in here, and that's what helps you to breathe. When you breathe, that thing pulls down, and when you want to go and get compressed air, that thing's pushing up and compressing the lungs. So if you're not holding your chest up, if you play collapse like this, if you play head forward and collapse, these are all major issues. If you want to move the needle right now, today, get your chest up. Dead serious. It's not like something where you're leaning back. Just hold it up. Like you're proud to play the trumpet. That's all that, if you do that, one thing right there, you will notice some marked improvement in your playing. Guaranteed. You're not going to all of a sudden know all 12 major scales. I saw that. All 12 major scales. But your endurance will go up. Your sound will be bigger. You will probably add a few notes to your range. Those are all important things, right? More endurance, more sound, more range. All because you're too lazy to get your posture right. Dead serious. Might not be the sexiest answer, but your teachers are right. They all tell you this. That's what these chairs are even designed to do. These are music posture chairs. Get your chest up, right? So that means typically when you're sitting on one of these chairs, if I were to give you a little example, from the side, if you're sitting with your back to it, like you're pretty much in good position. Sometimes your teachers talk about sitting on the edge of the chair because that inspires you to hold your chest up with your spine, right? My ribs are not collapsing on my guts. Up, just like that. Play trumpet. That alone will move the needle right now. So I'm gonna we'll do our friend in the blue shirt and we'll come back to you. Sound good?
Yes.
Yeah.
So going off that, what's your opinion on the wedge breath?
I think it's a good technique. It's not something that I personally rely on. Like I don't think about it actively a lot of time, however, I have practiced it. For those of you that don't know what he's talking about, it's a technique that comes from Bobby Shue, great trumpet player, he's quite old now, but he has a technique called the wedge breath, which is where he thinks about like things kind of more in a wedge like this as far as how your body goes and how you breathe and compress air. I personally don't do it. I'm much more, I think Aaron's like this too. I come from a place of, I want to maximize my efficiency. And so what that means is how little effort can I put into the trumpet and have the maximum output, right? So if I can give $1 to the trumpet, can I get $100 of trumpet out of it? You know what I mean? That's an easy way to think about it. How little effort does it take for me to get a sound? How little effort can I get it to play G above high C? How little effort can I make that? Does it have to be like, oh my God, my head's gonna pop? Or can I get it to where it's like, you know, doesn't look like I'm trying? Even though there's effort and an involvement of an exchange with the instrument, how low can I get that on my end? Does that make sense? So that's constantly where I'm coming from mentally, is how little effort when I play something, let's just say it's an etude, I'm playing a Goldman etude or something like that, and I play it, and I'm thinking to myself, is this as easy as I can do this? That's what I'm thinking about. So things like my posture matter. If my chest is collapsed, I guarantee you it's a lot more work to make the trumpet do what I want it to do, right? If I'm fighting the resistance of the instrument, it's the same difference, right? If you feel like you have to push really hard into the lead pipe, that's just you fighting the instrument. How can I be like a Zen monk and play this thing and have it take like zero effort? I mean, the tribute concert we just played in December for Gordon, you know, we played like 7 hours that day from the sound check to the performance. It's like by the end of it, you're feeling it. I don't care how Zen monk you are, there has been an exchange of energy. But my goal is, do I have to feel it tomorrow? Also, not only can I end this concert with grace and play every note, but am I going to be thrashed tomorrow? Where I pick up the trumpet, it's like, ow. I don't ever want to feel that. And I've been there.
I think a good way to work on it too is, you know, let's say you're playing some long tones, you know, in the beginning of your routine, and you're playing a higher long tone. Like once you do what is required to get the note out, and you're holding the long tone, just try to eliminate all tension from here, from your body, so that it feels like you're not actually playing at all. And that, like Mike is saying, that the minimum amount of effort is still achieving the note. The note's not changing in pitch, it's not changing in tone, it's still holding. But it's hard to do upon the attack of the note. But once the note is sounding, I think it's a lot easier to hold the note and kind of just sit there and say, okay, where is the tension? Is it here? You know, is it up here? Is it here? Right. Just try to eliminate all of it, basically.
Why don't we do that right now? Let's just hold a G in the staff. Long tone. Here's the goal. We're going to play it pianissimo. You all know what that means?
Soft.
It means real soft.
So soft.
Right? So soft. Just chilling. Right? All I want is that's G. Just like that. And your goal is to stay relaxed. Right? If you all of a sudden feel this happening, if you feel like, oh shit, I'm going to play this G, just play it soft. And just like Aaron's talking about, find those spots where you feel tension, right? Where you feel this happening. Find those spots. If you have to stop, shake it out. Be like, I don't have to do that. You don't. Isn't that amazing? You don't have to do that. That's all just fear, that's an illusion in the first place, but around like something that you believe is gonna happen with your instrument. Instead, take the belief that I can do this. I can do this. Can you? Do you believe it? Do you believe you can do this? Yeah, I can play a soft G in the staff and just hold it still. Okay, let's do it. So, right, good posture. We're gonna take a nice relaxed breath. We're just gonna play this G nice and soft. Yeah, a relaxed breath. Don't let it come up into here where it's like choking you because you're taking so much air. Just a nice full breath from the bottom up, like you're filling a glass of water. That's all we're doing. Trumpet takes so little air. It's insane. Ready? Here we go. Aaron, you in on this?
I'm in.
1, 2, 3. That was a very respectable G from a lot of trumpet players. How'd it feel?
Amazing.
Yeah? Amazing?
A lot of times if I'm doing stuff like that, I'll turn all the lights off and close my eyes. You know, it's like, it can be like nap time. You know, it really can. And it'll put you in the right zone.
That's meditative in practice.
Yeah, a lot of times in the morning, if I do like a warm-up class, in the morning I turn all the lights off.
Did anybody notice any tension starting to come to the surface?
I noticed in my shoulders, I kind of have it like tensed up and I lift and stuff. I
Yeah,
try to like hold it up and I realize I can just relax.
totally. Let it go.
I can just kind of use it in my elbows and stuff. It's my gosh.
Yeah.
So much shoulder tension will prevent high notes. Like all this, you don't think it's affecting it, it totally is.
You had something?
I just felt it like in my back area.
Yeah.
I just I relaxed the position.
Yeah. Right. We cause these tensions on ourselves. It's not the instrument, it's us. Right? We're making ourselves tense. But until we kind of open our mind and eyes to it, we just think that it's like, man, trumpet hurts my body. And instead it's like, no, it's all internal. One of you had something that you wanted to add, right? Someone raise their hand.
Does anybody notice tension here? I mean, I'm hearing here, I'm hearing back. So there's some tension here too, right? Sometimes you're a little bit too pitched, so you can almost loosen up a little bit and still have the buzz. You know,
It was really weird when I
Yeah.
let it go, and it was just still there.
yeah. If you just let go, sometimes the toning gets better.
Can you elaborate real quick? So you mean normally you feel like
My
you're
lips
really
were
holding?
like my top lip was really tight, and like I just let it loosen up, and it sounded better, like you
Yeah.
said.
That's also what I noticed because usually when I play higher notes and stuff, I have a really tense lip, and I think I'm starting to think that's what's causing it to feel so like just shot and really thin when I'm trying to.
That's why a lot of people practice high notes really quietly, because it helps to take that away. The only way to really get the resonance at full volume is to be able to play the note very cleanly at a soft volume, you know, without that tension. So as you're doing your long tones, you know, on a middle G is one thing, but if you, let's say you were to do that same thing on a G on top of the staff, for example,
Or high C or
it's a whole new, you know, thing to navigate. Now there is going to be more surface pressure and a little bit more tension, but you still have to think, okay, how do I take some of that out? How do I make a G on top of the staff feel just as easy as a G in the staff? which is I think a lot of what professional trumpet players are subconsciously thinking about when they're warming up. It's like how do like you said first, how do I make this as easy as possible? Because I'm gonna have to do it for 7 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah, because those days they happen.
Yeah.
Would it be a good idea to get a trumpet like theory book for like playing and stuff?
And so what you mean is like maybe a method book?
Yeah,
For trumpet playing or for like jazz?
for trumpet playing.
Absolutely.
There's so much out there.
Absolutely.
There is a sea of information. I think one of the dangers nowadays is that things like YouTube have put everybody on an equal platform. Meaning like you can make a YouTube video and I can make a YouTube video and they can be on the same topic. And what people will find is like, I mean, your video might do like 1,000,000 times better than mine. But the information that you might be disseminating is not that great. And it's just like, so now all these trumpet players are getting their heads kind of twisted up with a lot of bad info. That's the one thing to watch out for. Now, there are really good books out there, but what I would recommend, yes, you know, books are great, and especially for like, depending where you are at your level, which you have to be realistic about, don't go for the hardest book you can find. For most of you, it's gonna be something like the Rubank Intermediate Trumpet Method. And I think you get it online for under 15 bucks. And that will work a bunch of different key centers. It'll fix you up on 16th note rhythms, on dotted rhythms. It's just little vignettes. They're easy to play. You can totally handle them. And then get a lesson. Sit with a teacher who can help assess you in the moment and get you kind of fixed up. Like, here's what I'm hearing, here's what we should practice. Make sure you do this 20 minutes a day. I want you to practice these 2 pages worth of material and bring it back to me next week, nice and shaped up.
Okay, I was just asking because I have this guitar book that's really helped me play guitar like at home when I practice.
Trumpet's a little less linear of an instrument.
Right.
You can't see what's going on. Right, and all of a sudden we just play this one note, this G and the staff, and it's like you're having all these realizations simply because you're awake to them now. Where before, you might not have had those realizations simply because you don't know what to look for. You don't know what to listen for. Should I feel this? Should I not feel this? You dig what I mean? Where guitar is kind of like, make hand go like this, play strings. Yes, of course, to achieve mastery on an instrument, it's a lot of work. But you dig what I'm saying. This instrument's mysterious. A lot of people have trouble with it. You had a question.
Oh, me? Oh, yeah. So about what you said about being loose, like what do you think about the corners still being firm? Like how?
Oh, absolutely.
How
For
firm
sure.
is firm?
Locked.
Yeah, just
Locked.
no movement, you know, and
So would you say if you're playing a long tone G, or like if you're playing the Cat Anderson G, right? Are these firm enough that by the end of that, like they're like tired?
if you're gonna play a bunch of long tones, for sure. The corner is always tight, but I'm talking about loose here.
Yeah.
And loose here. Just not here.
The Cat Anderson G is what, 20 minutes? Yeah. Right. So 20-minute long tone? Yeah. What do you guys think? Would you be tired after a 20-minute long tone?
Yes.
I'd be tired of it.
It's like 18 minutes. I'm tired.
Good, yeah. Other questions? Now that we've established all that goodness. What do you do when you solo? Maybe from the teachers? Any questions? Brass pedagogy seems to be elusive that I find in a lot of educators.
Could you walk through improv just from your perspective, like where do you start students off with that?
Well, we're both probably gonna have a very different take on this. What I do is I have my students, I tell them to stop looking at the chord changes. Yep. And there's a reason for that. And the reason is that the chord, if you can't in real time be translating the chord changes while playing your instrument, while interacting with other musicians, all it's doing is paralyzing us and taking us out of use of these. So the first thing I have my students do is don't look at the chord changes and listen to what you play. Listen to what you play. Because that's gonna inform you with what comes next. Okay? Who wants to take a solo? Come on, just anybody. We'll play some blues or something. You want to take a solo? You want to take a solo. Come on. Anybody? No? You're gonna sound, how about one of the teachers? He dropped all his music.
I'd say this is, this is answering your question right here. I mean, so much of improvisation it comes from self-consciousness, you know, trying to get over that kind of self-consciousness of wanting to play or being comfortable playing. And I think a great way to do that, like kind of like Mike said, is just stop worrying about what people think of how you play. So a lot of times, like if I was going to do a B flat blues, for example, a lot of times I'll tell students, I don't care what note you play. Try to find the most wrong note possible. Try to find it. You know, like everybody's got a different. I would disagree. That's part of the blues scale. F sharp. What about a C sharp? That's way more wrong than an F sharp. The F sharp's the blues scale.
That's funny. I do that with students too.
Yeah, because it takes away some of that subconscious inhibitions of like, oh, I'm a little bit afraid to do this. Can I get nerdy on you guys for a second?
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right. So I read this really awesome article talking about how when you ask the greatest improvisers in the world, hey, what are you thinking about when you're taking a solo, right? A lot of them, the answer is nothing, right? And to somebody trying to learn music, that is like a really unsatisfactory answer, right? But if you think of music basically like a language, right? When you start learning a new language, you're creating these brain synapse pathways, new pathways. So the first part of that is individual words, which for us you could say a word is like a note within a scale. That's correct, right? So that's the first part. Then you learn the scale, and the scales may be like, hi, my name is Aaron. You know, me llamo Aaron. Like those are the things you learn when you're first, learning a new language. And then you start putting those together. The whole time that you're doing this, you're overanalyzing what's going on. You're saying, am I doing this right? Because that's what you would do when, if you're in a new country and you know that language for a little bit, now you have to, speak that language. You're gonna totally overanalyze. Oh, I'd like to order 2 tacos. Like, how to say that in Spanish? I mean, I took a lot of years of Spanish, but if I'm talking to somebody whose primary language is Spanish, I'm gonna overthink what I'm saying, right? So you guys are in the process right now where you're building these new neural pathways, right? And that's the hard part. But at a certain point, as you reach these plateaus, and then you go past that plateau, reach a new one, go past that one, all of a sudden, you've built enough neural pathways that the overall goal, is to turn the brain off and let the neural pathway just run on its own. As I just said that to you guys, did I think about all the words I was going to say before I said them? No, I didn't. I just started talking. And now my point is kind of done. If Mike asked me, oh, could you transcribe exactly what you just said? I couldn't, because I was just living in the moment trying to explain this to you guys in the most concise way possible. So don't be discouraged by the fact that there is a lot of analysis going on in your brain right now, because what you're doing is actually building the neural pathways that will make this easy. Because both of us, our answer would be, oh, what do you think about when you're improvising? Nothing. I think about, trying to make something good come out of the trumpet, whatever that is, trying to tell a story. But there's no part of it is like, well, I'm thinking about, like, I really want to hit that sharp 11. Or like, oh, the flat 9's coming up in this next, it's my favorite note in that chord, like, I can't wait to hit it, That is not what a lot of great improvisationalists are thinking about. But when we sit down and we analyze what they're doing, we see all that stuff and we say, oh, wow, that's awesome. And so much of that comes from developing the ear, like Mike said to begin with, and then number 2, developing all of those neural pathways to the point where you can just sit back, let them go autopilot, and just relax. So don't feel so crippled if you can help it by, I don't know what to play, I'm not sure whether it's going to sound good or if people are going to judge me. Just play, listen to yourself while you're playing, analyze, well, did that actually sound good in relation to what's around me? And chances are, you'll be right. You know, you've heard enough music to know, oh man, this C sharp does not sound good over a C chord. You know the answer, but also at the same time, that previous exercise of, hey, try to play the most wrong note possible makes you realize that almost everything is right.
Yeah.
When it really comes down to it, because the intent behind it makes it right.
Gotcha.
So a lot of the fun for us is like, how do we put wrong notes into this and make them feel like they're not wrong at all? And it's actually, once the ears are wide open, that's a lot easier to do than it seems.
Yeah, I just did that for another class on Wednesday, where I call it the wrong note solo. I demonstrate the wrong note solo for them. So I have the rhythm section play just like a blues in whatever key, and I just pick only wrong notes. And then I ask the class, I say, does it sound wrong? And everybody says, no, it doesn't sound wrong. I said, how's that possible? All the notes are wrong, how does it not sound wrong? Right? And it's exactly what Aaron said, which is the intent behind it. Do you understand what that means? Like, improvisation, there's no amount of mathematical things, musical mathematics, that you can know that's going to make you sound like an improviser with conviction. Does that make sense? It's something that's within you before you ever come to it. Does that make sense? If you feel shy about improvising right now, you're probably going to be shy about it for a while, or maybe ever. And that's okay. I don't think that should bother you. I really don't. Right? If you're like, I don't really want to take a solo, so what?
You'd be amazed at how many professional musicians still feel that way. Right? Performance anxiety, especially when you're trying to create something on your own, is something that runs rampant. Right? And so most of a musician's journey, especially if they want to improvise, is figuring out ways to combat that, basically. And that's a lifelong journey. That's not something that can be answered in a masterclass for sure.
But with all that said, you want to demonstrate the wrong note solo for him?
Yeah, sure.
What key you want me to play in?
You can play in B-flat concert.
All right. B-flat blues it is. And Aaron is going to play only wrong notes. Gasp. All right.
Ready?
Yeah. Did anybody feel like it felt like a wrong note solo?
No.
It's crazy, right? Say it?
Only at the beginning.
Only at the beginning. Right, it's like, oh, that was kind of a stinker for a moment.
It's like, that's a weird thing to say first, right? It's like a conversation. Like, why would you say that first? Like, at least ease me into it, you know? But sometimes that's a cool way to go about it. It's like, here, I'm gonna jar you immediately by playing something that we both know is wrong.
Let's think about it real quick for a second, though. Because this is the wrong note solo is a great way to disarm yourself from feeling tension around improvisation. But what about what Aaron played just now was right? How about the time feel? Right? Where he plays the notes in time feels good against where the tempo was. What about the trumpet playing? Plays with a good sound. A very clear execution of what he's playing, right? There wasn't like a bunch of biffed notes or like out of tuneness or all this other kind of stuff that you can tell this is somebody who's a polished musician, right? So those are factors. We can't dismiss that for just like, you know, you can go full Jackson Pollock and just splatter paint on the wall, and that's cool too, you know, with your improvisation. But as we refine ourselves, this also shows up in our improvisation. However, it should feel very disarming, right, from the fear of improvisation. Like, boy, I really hope I don't play a wrong note.
the whole Jackson Pollock idea too is like that, back to my analogy before, that would be like going into the dictionary and just picking like this random word from this page, this random word from that page, right? And so there's no continuity between the words. So if you know you're gonna pick a word that doesn't belong, I'm writing a fairy tale book and now I'm gonna start talking about like a war from the past, like that's a real war. It's like, I have to contextualize that. I need to use that word or that phrase as an analogy for what I'm actually trying to say. So it's okay to pick a word or a phrase or a note that has absolutely nothing to do with where we're at, so long as you are able to recontextualize it back into the world that we're in.
I have a question for y'all. Is there anyone in here that feels like music at times is not fun? It's totally okay, like, you don't need to feel, so it's always fun for the rest of you. You're stoked, I can tell, you got that look in your eye. This kid's ready to like, put me out front, coach. Because, there's a lot of times in my life when I felt like it wasn't very fun. I think that's okay too. Because at times it can be hard work. Like to me, marching band was not fun. I did not enjoy marching band, but I know people who love marching band. I don't care if you love marching band, I don't care if you hate it, it doesn't affect me whatsoever. But my point is like, I think where this whole thing goes back to with the wrong note solo and freedom is that we have to have fun in our creation. I have a 3-year-old daughter and she loves to make art. And the last thing that is of any concern to her is really if it's beautiful or not. She doesn't care. She's just like, the act of making the art is the art. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like when you solo, why are we so concerned with like these things, these pressures that we put on ourselves? Or maybe you were on social media and you saw somebody tearing it up on giant steps. And you're like, oh my God, I will never get there. How do you do that? It's like, well, I'm telling you right now how you do it. You get into the act of creation. And it's totally okay. You think I never played a bad solo in my life? You'd be out of your mind. You'd be out of your mind. But here's the thing. I loved improvisation from the beginning because I always felt like I had something to get out of me. Like I loved creation. I didn't care if I played wrong notes. I was just like, I want a solo. Woo! And it would probably sound horrible. But that didn't bug me. I wasn't concerned with that. I was really in love with the act of creating. And I think that's really where it all comes from, right? Like every improviser. They don't come from like, I'm trying to learn this intricate language of jazz music, primarily post-1945, and all this kind of stuff. It's like, that's where creation leads you, is because when you get to the depths of creation, you see like, wow, you could do that. Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? But there's plenty of musicians, like if you listen to players from New Orleans, there's plenty of them that don't even read music. And they play great solos. They play great, they can't read a lick of music. They're just like street performers that have just regular jobs. Isn't that crazy to think about? They probably know less than all of you in regards to like being able to read music and going through like a scholastic music program. That should make you feel like, wow, maybe it's actually me that's holding me back. Crazy, right? Anyway, who wants to play a solo? Hey, all right, come on.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? What do you mean?
Oh.
Come over here to the piano.
Oh no.
You play some blues? Yeah. And we'll do it in your C. And I want...
C?
You know what the note C is?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's a good place to
Like
start.
B flat as in C?
Concert, B flat.
Concert, B flat. Yeah, right.
I was transposing for you,
Okay.
because I'm a nice guy.
Okay.
Have you ever played the blues?
On piano sometimes.
Okay, so that's right, you play guitar too. Good, well aim at them, and not at me.
That's...
And what I want you to do is we'll play a few choruses and just be into the creation. Don't be thinking about notes, don't try to be thinking about chords, don't be thinking about all this extracurricular stuff.
You got this, Ava.
Let's just vibe. As they say, as the kids say, right? It's just vibes. So let's do it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I want you to talk about your experience.
Oh.
Can you elaborate on what just happened? What did you feel? What did you think? What did you notice?
I felt nervous.
Uh-huh.
I think about halfway through that I really messed up because I was thinking of a note, but I didn't hit it.
That'll happen.
It was a moment where I forgot exactly where the note was.
Uh-huh, sure.
And
I do that all the time, but I wouldn't call it a mess up.
right.
You learn to roll with the punches.
Yeah. Whatever note comes out, reframe whatever you were gonna do. It's like, oh, that's the note that came out, so we're gonna try that.
Talk more about, like, what was your approach?
My approach was just
Like, where were you coming from? When I started playing, you didn't play for a little bit, right? You were just kind of listening and being like, all right,
was waiting
waiting for something to
to
happen.
kind of feel like exactly what you were doing with
Sure.
the piano
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of observing the situation of the.
And then when you felt compelled to play, where was that coming from? Like, did you feel like you were feeling like, oh, I want to get in there? Like, I feel like a note here. Or like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You're like, what was it like? Talk to the people here that maybe have never taken a solo before, and they're wondering what it was. What did it feel like?
Well, it felt very nerve-wracking, but I like going through it. I enjoyed it because, like, afterwards, it's more relieving to see people's reactions rather than only thinking about how they would probably react in your mind. It's better to have a real outcome instead of what you just think is going to happen.
You all paying attention to what he just said?
I love
You
that.
realize that all of that is self-induced, right? It's in your mind. It's not. It's not reality. That's where that fear is coming from.
There's always a lot going on.
For
in
sure.
my mind.
Come back. We're gonna play another one.
Oh no!
I'm gonna play in a different key.
I'd like to try something.
Yeah.
Which we can do whatever key you want.
Yeah.
Let's trade choruses. Okay. So you'll take one, then I'll take one, then you'll take one, then I'll take one. And what I want you to do is whatever you hear me do that you grab onto, try to speak from that as you go. And then same with you. I'm going to listen to what you play, and I'm going to try to take something that would from what you played that inspired me and use it as the kind of groundwork of where I'm going to start.
Like
'Cause-
remixing.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
a remix you.
It just
and
be
you remix
just
me,
careful here. Yeah.
You know, so we don't have to necessarily
yeah.
stay on the same thing all the time. There can be spontaneous creation, but I think sometimes it takes a lot of the stress out of the whole thing when you can have 12 bars to sit, listen to somebody else respond to you, and say, what do I like about what they're doing, right? But I'm going to try and do stuff that is well within. Now, I'm not going to try to play a bunch of crazy notes or anything like that. I'm going to try to have a conversation with you and meet you where you're at. Exactly.
Okay.
All right? You want to go first or second?
Go second.
Go first.
No, go second. Go second.
I said I'm gonna let him go first.
All right, perfect. I'll go first. 1, 2.
Let him play. Yeah. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
So you see we got into some stuff there, right? And I think sometimes it's easier to do that when you've got a conversation going with somebody, right? But guess what? You always have a conversation going with somebody. You got one going with Mike the whole time. But I think it's sometimes hard to listen to what the piano player is playing at the same time as listening to what you're doing. So I think having the trumpet versus trumpet conversation can be a little bit better because you can see what I'm doing, I can hear what you're doing, and we can kind of get somewhere, right? Like, for example, a lot of the notes in your first couple courses were kind of long. And then maybe you heard something I did, and then they were all short. And it's like, that's exactly what we're going for. It doesn't have to be, we're not, notice that neither of us have had any comments about whether the notes are right or wrong, because it doesn't matter. It's all about living in that moment and trying to make some music out of that moment. So what I was doing is trying to listen to what you're doing for the last 4 bars of your solo, and then try to find a way to start where that is, and then take it my own place, you know?
Yeah, remember when we were doing?
Yeah. That part, I took that from you.
That part was really fun, actually.
I transcribed you.
I transcribed you, man.
Yeah, I
Give
got
a round of applause.
of when I'm playing or doing basically anything. I just get very nervous doing stuff in front of people because I feel like they're watching, and if I'm like the first one doing it, I feel like it's just, if I mess up, it's all over, right?
And the first step is to be that one that comes up though. That
Right.
like you're already beating it just by saying, "Yep, I'm here to play."
As I go through, and it's like a wave, and it's getting used to like whatever wave is going on. It's like as
It's kind of exhilarating,
Yeah.
but it's like you can either think about it as crippling or as exhilarating, you know. So that's what I think the frame for us is like. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Like I can't wait to get on this roller coaster of whatever song I'm on, you know.
Let me give you a heads up too. This audience that you were just playing for right now is probably the most critical audience that you could ever potentially play for, because it's full of people who are like between the ages of probably 11 and 17, and
That's why I was the most scared, is because people my age are usually
if
the
you can
worst.
play in front of these people, if you can play in front of these people, you can play in front of anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. This should feel disarming, I hope. You should feel empowered now to not fear it, because the reality is that if you paint this line, it's not a bad line, right? If you do something musically, it's not like there's no inherent right or wrong. You understand? There's maybe things that are like more logical or more right than others. Like if you're trying to play like Clifford Brown, then there's things that Clifford Brown would do. Right? So if you inherently jump away from that, then it's not going to be your intention. But if you're just trying to improv, create something, do something, make some sound, like that's all you got to do. And sometimes the best thing to do is just haul off and play a nice fat wrong note and get it out of the way. Be like, there you go. All right. Ready for what's next? Bang. You know, and just get going. Sound good? Thanks, everybody. I think we got to get on our bus.
Are we out of time?
Maybe one last question, short questions.
Any last thoughts?
Last words? Yeah.
Do you guys think about, this is
Yes.
Yes, very much so do.
Like this
They
type
do,
of
they do it, but what matters more at your age? Right, if you play, let's say you play a 7th C, what matters more at your age is practice, not your mouthpiece. Don't haul off and buy some $400 mouthpiece, you don't need it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the brand doesn't matter. The size matters more than the brand a lot of the time.
But if you're listen, if you're not a practicer, there's no mouthpiece that's gonna save you. You need to take that pill now. If you're not a practicer, there's not a mouthpiece that's gonna save you or do something special for you. All it's gonna do is take your money, or your parents' money. You understand? First things first, get the horn out at home. Prove to yourself that you want it, even a little bit. And then maybe, for Christmas or whatever, we can talk about getting a nice, fancy, shiny mouthpiece. Like the gold one, like what Aaron's got. You got the gold one.
This thing was $90, okay?
Yikes.
Well, it wasn't $600.
They're out there,
It
though.
wasn't $600. It was $90, okay? Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
You all
Maybe gold plated. but
Do you
nothing
understand what I just said? You need to understand this. You need to understand it. Practice comes first. That'd be like if you were my kid and I introduced you to the game of golf, right? And you got out and played, a couple of times. You've never gone out on your own. You never hit the putting green. You never practiced your chip shots. Nothing. All you do is get out there and hack away at it. Why would I buy you a $5,000 set of clubs? It makes 0 sense. First things first, practice, right? Tiger Woods was hitting his first putts on a little plastic putter. You know what I mean? That's what comes first, is practice.
That actually reminds me of the guitar one time. There was this guitar that I really wanted for a long time. It was one of those big, like, V-shaped guitars.
Sure, yeah, flying V.
Loved those, right? And so I tried it the very first time, seeing it like in person, playing it and whatnot, and I realized this is actually not as like I wanted it to be. I didn't really like it that much playing it, but then I saw this different guitar that I've like never heard of the brand, never like seen that type of guitar before. It's a Gretsch, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I
Like a
got
hollow
that.
body?
Semi-hollow body, just amazing. I loved it, and that is like my current guitar. I have that in my room.
Yeah.
Just love it so much.
Any other last minute questions before we take off? Everyone feel good? Feel inspired? Remember, now you know how to look for tensions in your body. Now you know how to approach playing improvisation from a place of creation as opposed to a place from fear. That's the most important thing.
Right? Are you coming to the concert tonight? Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Just making sure.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I guess we'll be there too.
Yeah, I guess we'll be there.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your day, all right?
Yeah, no, you better send that.
All right, y'all.
Good job, Mike.
Oh, I don't think so. That's a good question though. I like it. You're ready to clean up.
I just want to say that was like a lot of clinics that I go to, they never like, I never feel like actually inspired or like actually like, I feel like I don't get much out of them most of the time. But this was the first time I've been to a clinic and I actually feel like I got something out of it. I feel
Well, that's good.
inspired to actually solo. I've taken like 2 solos and 4 years that I've been in jazz band. And
Okay.
It's just like I never really did that. And I think I will now.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's just about having fun.
Yeah.
Like, just do what you did to your hair, but in your solo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on.
Thank
All
you.
right, take it easy.